and he has not that many Planeswalkers I thought he would have. He has 2 Jace Architect of Thought, 1 Jace Memory Adept, and 1 Tameo the Moon Sage.
Yeah, that's a lot fewer than they usually have.
Yeah, in these particular type of decks, I only have in between 5 to 8 Planeswalkers starting, some number of Sorens often as well. What you're going to find, because he doesn't have that, is just a ton of spells. 2 Dissipate, 2 Detention Spheres, 4 Azorius Charms, a Ultimate Price, a couple Feeling of Dread, Think Twice, Terminus, Curse of Deathhold. Only creatures he has is 2 copies of Snapcaster Mage. But the way he's going to win most of his games, hopefully within those 50 minutes, are 4 copies in the Nefali Drownyard.
Yeah.
And on Joe's side?
Joe looks, well, he's playing against the Esper version that has way more sorcery speed spells, so he's going to be in a slightly better shape here because he's playing Humanimator, which can kill the turn that it goes off. The way Humanimator works is you put a lot of humans, namely with the 1 Gold Knight Commander, Huntmaster of the Fells. Is it Staticaster or Nightshade Peddler, the combo that's become very popular as of late in sort of mid-range decks and Humanimator decks, and you put them in there with Mulch and Grizzly Salvage and Faithless Looting, and then you cast an Angel of Glory's Rise, or you Unburial Rights it and combo off your opponent.
So I mean, this is going to be your matchup here, where Joe's basically going to try to get his engine online. Jax is going to try to get his Planeswalkers online, do some card drawing and cycling, as we see a Mulcher from Joe, and basically stop Joe from one-shotting him, for lack of a better term, with the Angel of Glory's Rise. So we do see Mulch here give Joe a Rootbound Crag. It's going to move Unburial Rights, Nightshade Peddler, and Huntmaster of the Fells to the graveyard.
That's an above-average Mulch. Even though it only netted 1 land, it did put Unburial Rights in the graveyard, so it counts like another card in hand. And then put 2 humans in the bin, so not too bad. It's better than putting Grizzly Salvages and Farseeks in there.
That is definitely true. And the interesting thing here that you find in Jax's deck is that he doesn't have a ton of counter magic. So the question you have to ask yourself is, how can he stop Joe from basically going off, or doing what he's attempting to do, establish his game plan? There's 2 copies of Dissipate. That's really it. You got a lot of counter magic. You've got a lot of card drawing with Sphinx's Revelation, Think Twice. You get Zoria's Charm and some removal, and of course those Planeswalkers. But as far as counter magic, just kind of stop those in Burial Rights, 2 Dissipates. That's it.
Yep. The best way that Jax has to stop the combo is with his Dissipates, but you can't rely on those. There's only 2 in the deck. The best way he has to deal with it is after Joe puts a bunch of things in play, Feeling of Dread the creatures that have haste that are enormous, untap and Supreme Verdict. That's going to be his most reliable, or Terminus. That's going to be his most reliable way to counter.
Yeah, Terminus being the big one there, because it doesn't put them back in the graveyard.
Right.
Makes Joe go through basically all the work again of filling up his graveyard and trying to one-shot him again. So I think Terminus is going to play a huge role after those Feeling of Dreads that you talked about, or that pinpoint removal with a timely Ultimate Price, or maybe an Azorius Charm, putting one of those hasters back on top. Those things are going to be what's important here.
Yeah.
So we do see Nightshade Peddler come across here.
Going into Jace, which came into play last turn, used its Fact or Fiction ability. Joe looks like he's got multiple Angels in hand. Interesting to me, at least, that Joe does not have main deck Zealous Conscripts.
Yeah, some lists have 2 main deck Zealous Conscripts. Other lists have, as you see, Joe has the main deck Gold Knight Commander. The lists do vary just slightly on what they want to have in kind of that silver bullet type spot.
If I were playing this deck, I'd want to have more haste creatures to be able to kill in the one shot with Gold Knight Commander. That'd just be my personal taste. Right now, the only ones that can attack are his 0-3 is at Staticasters, which of course will be bigger. But,
of course.
Still. So we see Huntmaster from Joe Lossett.
Yeah, that was brought back with the Unburial Rights from the Mulch, so that's 1 Unburial Rights that is gone for Joe, so that's 1 less card that Jax actually has to worry about of the important cards in this particular matchup, as we see Jace tick up to 2.
Joe does have multiple Angels in hand, so he's not too worried about the Unburial Rights going away. Ultimate Price is going to take out a token, not exactly ideal.
Yeah.
Just trying to stem the bleeding.
Yeah, it makes it so that Jace doesn't
survives,
die
from
the Huntmaster attack, because Peddler won't be dealing it any damage, so long as Jax does remember the Jace trigger when Joe attacks. But, I mean, as you said, not really the best use of the old Ultimate Price, excuse me.
Yeah. Joe's playing a very patient game here. He's just going to flip this Huntmaster to take out this Jace. Jack's not really having any way to stop that, apparently. He does not play at instant speed, as we said, so...
Yeah, for the most part, you're not really going to see any, end of turn action. The end of turn action that you're going to see is just card drawing effects, as we do see a Terminus here from Jax to clean up these two guys here. The Huntmaster of the Fells and the Nightshade Peddler are going to go bye-bye.
That's actually probably good news for Joe, that he had to waste it on a Nightshade Peddler and a Ravager.
Yeah.
Because now he can... There's one less Terminus to be able to ruin the Angels.
Yeah. And it's basically, this is going to be... It's going to be kind of grindy.
Yeah.
Joe's going to kind of try to grind out those important resources because Jax only has, a couple really relevant cards here in Terminus, which he only has 2 copies left. I mean, Sphinx of Revelation is obviously a great Magic card, but it doesn't really do a ton.
Also, when your main win condition is Nephalia Drownyard and you're playing against Human Reanimator,
yeah,
that's a bit of a problem.
Yeah, I would say that's certainly an issue.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have a ton of action cards.
Not an ideal situation. Is Curse even good against Joe?
Curse is going to take down Nightshade Peddler.
That's about it.
Which is about it. It's not really going to do much more than that.
Yeah,
As we are going to see a Revelation here 4/4 from Jax. It's just, he has all these cards, that draw cards and pinpoint removal and a couple of counter spells, stuff like that. But as far as action cards and getting the game over with, the card that's going to do that for him is, as you said, Nephalia Drownyard, and that's just not ideal.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he's going to be able to overcome, that kind of deficiency from his deck. If that's going to be a big deal, or if he's going to be able to overcome that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Oh, we see a big Jace.
And we do see the Curse of Death's Hold here taking care of
This
the Nightshade
turn
Peddler.
is going to be Curse, which is fine. I think it's a fine Magic card in this matchup. It's going to save some damage, but it's not going to be the blowout that it would be against other Reanimator decks that have Lingering Souls and Mana guys.
Yeah.
There's Curse of Death's Hold. One of the more... I was expecting Curse to get more play in the last couple months, although perhaps we'll see more once Orzhov comes out.
Yeah. I mean, it's really varied, right? It's either been insane, like it was against Delver in the previous Type 2 format, so long as you could get there and slide underneath the Mana Leak, or it's been kind of off the radar, not really doing very much. Kind of surprised to see one copy here, but again, when Curse is good, it's great.
Yeah. And it's quite easy to side out if he needs to. So Jax, I think, is just going to start milling Joe here. Is that what he's going to do, or does he just want to draw a card a turn?
Well, that's the question. Because it is a little bit dangerous.
He's going to start milling.
All right.
Okay.
And the interesting thing here is, Joe did cast a Mulch, but he hasn't really,
He hasn't really seen anything
Yeah, he hasn't seen anything yet, so...
Once he flips up Gold Knight Commander, he's going to be like, oh no.
Yeah.
Is there a Staticaster in there?
No, we see at least one Huntmaster of the Fells.
We see at least one Huntmaster. I can't really see if there's a Staticaster to be able to kill that Jace immediately if he... Well, I guess it wouldn't be able to kill it unless the Gold Knight Commander was in there also.
Yeah.
Got a little ahead of myself there. But 3 Angel of Glories rise in Joe's hand, among other cards. I think that Joe can sort of just let Jax mill him again, I think. If he wants to. Or he can just cast an Angel here.
I mean, he can do that, but again, he's just got to be careful in balancing, all right, there goes 10 cards, there goes 10 more cards. You don't want to get greedy and wait until, you only have, I don't know, 20 or less cards left.
Yeah, I'm not saying he should dredge his entire library. I'm just saying that, play the little rope-a-dope a little bit more. What he's probably gonna do here though is just discard 2 more humans, then play an Angel and have a huge board position and make Jax have it.
Sure. Make a Wrath come.
Yeah.
Because we do see a Faithless Looting here from Joe.
I see 2 Staticasters about to get discarded. There they are.
Oh, there those go. Let's see, Joe's going to play a Woodland Cemetery. Let's see what else he's going to choose to do here.
I would be very surprised if we didn't see Angel here.
And that's what we have got.
Oh, we have a Dissipate. Interesting.
Okay.
One of the 2 Dissipates.
So 1 Dissipate left. But again, Snapcaster Mage, 2 copies of that as well. And I believe there is 1.
There's the Commander.
6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So there's an Angel.
We have an Angel in hand and in the bin with an Unburial Rites.
Yes.
So we don't have enough to do both though, do we?
It does not look that way.
We have 7, 8. We're going to have 9 mana, so we'll be 1 short of being able to do that. Which might be 1 turn too late, because Jax is just going to keep on milling. He's got 2 Drown Yards in play too to pump up the speed on that, depending on the number of cards in Joe's deck.
And Joe now has to be pretty careful about, Faithless Looting. Has to be careful about mulching, Grizzly
3,
Salvage.
4,
You
5,
see
6,
casting
7,
his own
8,
deck.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 cards left for Joe. So yeah, those Drown Yards represent death.
Mm-hmm.
We have a Team Jax sign here
I'm saying
from passerby.
Yeah, go Team Jax.
Must be a local player.
What makes you think that?
He has a team in the area. It's a home game. Where's Joe from?
Joe is from outside of Los Angeles.
Okay. I see him at pretty much everything in the Western time zone.
Yep.
So, like, for a long time I thought he was from Seattle.
Yeah, he ended up coming up to Seattle when last time we were there just to see family. And he's like, I feel like kind of gaming too. So, any excuse for him to get to play Blue White Miracles in Legacy Tournament, I think he finds one.
Yeah, fair enough. I would be surprised if we don't see him near the top tables tomorrow.
He's put on a nice display today, as we do see a Faithless Looting being cast here as well. He is undefeated so far with this Human Reanimator deck. 6-0, basically playing for top 8 right now against Jax, and what I think we would consider to be pretty close to a favorable matchup for him, especially game 1 when there's really no hate, so he just has to kind of navigate his way through just a couple of cards. Now, of course, we have perfect information, so we know what cards he has to navigate through.
And that would be the 1 Jace and the 2 Dissipates.
Yes.
Well, funny story.
Yeah. well, here we are.
Yeah, here we are. We look at our life and we look at our choices and we find that, sometimes. So we're going to target... second Dissipate from the hand. Didn't even need the Snapcaster Mage.
Does not even need the Snapcaster Mage.
I think.
Owie.
So we have another Unburial Rites? Is that correct?
That's what I believe to be the case. Yep, Unburial Rites. I think we're going to see Snapcaster Mage here.
If we have Snapcaster in hand, then we're dead.
Does he have enough blue? Oh, he does not. He does not have enough blue for Snapcaster Dissipate. And you see the way that he tapped his mana.
Yeah, he tapped 3
three blue sources.
He could have Snapcaster Dissipated if he had one in hand.
Well, that is
so now Joe is going to put about half of his library graveyard. We're playing from our graveyard.
We are.
We're a dredge deck. Like let's be real here.
So
trigger. Don't forget the trigger.
Don't want to forget the trigger. He wants to see his graveyard. I think Joe's saying, I can just show it to you. I can put it all in play.
Yeah, I can just put it all in play if you want. There's nothing he can do at instant speed to be able to put an end to Joe putting stuff into play. No cremate action or anything like that.
So you see, is it Static Caster? You're going to see a whole bunch of things here. There's the Commander, another Static Caster. Looks like all 4 Static Casters. Another Hunt Master.
Now, we're going to put Gold Knight Commander on the screen again. I think you guys put it on the first time.
Yeah, we did.
Just so that you guys can see it again, because it's not a usual card. It will trigger all of the creatures, and all of the Static Casters have haste.
Yes.
So all of them will get to attack immediately.
That is correct.
And Jax can't Azorius Charm them all.
We don't think so.
It's possible.
Yeah, in some worlds he can. In the world that we're currently in, I don't
as
think
we said, he only has 2 blue mana.
Yep.
So we're gonna have to find some. We're gonna have to think. We're gonna have to Feeling of Dread a couple of them, I think.
Now we see Joe. The important thing here is that he makes sure he gets all his triggers right.
Yeah.
Because of course those peddlers are all going to die because of curse, but he wants to make sure he gets all his triggers right. He does have 2 Hunt Masters there as well. Just wants to get everything correct here so he doesn't screw any of it up.
Yep. I see 10 creatures that came into play, and then Hunt Masters are going to trigger, being 2 more creatures.
Yes.
Plus the Angel itself.
Correct.
So 13 total creatures.
So you got to make sure that you just stack everything correctly here. Doesn't want to screw anything up. Doesn't want to forget any of the triggers either, of course.
We could probably just take these life totals off the screen, by the way. Jax is either just going to die from 100 or he's just going to win. And Joe's life total equals the number of cards in his library. So
maybe we should be ticking down from 60.
Yeah,
for Joe.
I think that's about right.
Which means that Jax is certainly going to win one of these games by damage.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's almost a lock now.
Yeah. Can he do that? He can attack 10 times with Snapcaster Mage.
That's right. What else do you need?
That's actually it. That is actually it.
No creatures in the sideboard.
No creatures in the sideboard at all. That's pretty fantastic.
You've got your wolf token triggers from the Huntmaster. He puts those into play. Triggers the commander.
Attack you with 4 Staticasters.
Coming across for some very large amount of damage, and I think he's saying, all right, hold on a second.
I'm going to attack for about 75.
Hold on just a minute.
Probably. So Feeling of Dread just counters pretty much everything that happened.
Yeah, one Feeling of Dread counters these 4. I mean, it taps 2, flashback, tap the other 2.
Yep.
So it actually does an insane job of taking care of this attack, oddly enough.
Now, another interesting thing that Joe's going to be able to do next turn is he's going to be able to cast another Angel of Glory's Rise. So, okay, so let's say we get Feeling of Dreaded here.
Sure.
Joe can then kill his own Huntmasters with Izzet Staticasters. Then next turn, play his Angel of Glory's Rise again, bringing back all of the Huntmasters with the tokens that they come with and the Nightshade Peddlers again.
Well, here they come.
Oh, so he got to enter his attack step.
He did have Snapcaster Mage, which means that tapping for that Dissipate
was a problem.
And might be the thing that does him in.
So what do we have in the bin that we can do? We can't ultimate price any of those.
So long as those is big enough, and we'll get confirmation on how large those Staticasters are with all of those triggers from our spotter at the table.
Yep. Shout out to Afro Judge.
A lot of hair.
A lot of hair.
A lot of hair for Afro Judge.
One of the more popular characters on the Open Series, Afro Judge.
I'm a fan. I would never have that much hair, but he does it well.
Yeah.
Does it very well. And you also have to keep in mind too, Ruben, that there is that Curse of Deathly that can play as well.
Oh,
so,
that's right.
Negating one of those.
Yeah,
but it looks like it's going to be more than enough.
Instead of being 85 damage, it was 81 damage.
Yeah, so. Looks to be more than enough damage. So Joe Lossett up a game with Humanimator, as you call it. Jax Remitio, I have his deck list in front of me.
Very upset with himself, as you can see visually, because I mean, he could have had the Dissipate.
Yeah. If he has a Dissipate there, I think he wins.
He does.
It's the tough spot.
It's not exact because he couldn't use because Joe had 19 cards.
Yeah.
So Joe could have tried to go off the next turn with about 2 cards left in his library.
Sure.
Because I think that math works out. He would have drawn 1 card, it got milled for 16. He had 19 left, so it'd be like 2 or 3 cards left in his deck. But still, didn't give himself a chance to win.
And whenever you're playing against a Reanimator deck, or if you're playing with a Reanimator deck, you're just wondering how many graveyard-type hate cards people have in their sideboard, specifically Rest in Peace. There's 1 copy here for Jax, which is if you're Joe, you're pumping the fist mentally. There's 1 copy of that, and I don't see any copies of Purify the Grave here either. Now, Feeling of Dread, a card that would have been very, very good in that situation. There are 2 more in Jax's sideboard to go with the 2 main decks, so maybe we see those come in. There's an additional Curse of Deathly, which I don't think will be joining us. There's a Cyclonic Rift. I think that will be coming in for the ultimate effect of that. Basically fogging an attack, making Joe go through all the work again of setting it up. Detention Sphere, not really where he wants to be. Dispel, again, not where he wants to be. 2 copies of Negate, I like those quite a bit. 2 copies of Jace Memory Depth, I like quite a bit. An additional Dissipate I like, and an additional Terminus I like as well.
Sever is probably not going to come in, although he can like randomly pick off a value angel.
Yeah.
I don't like it though.
Yeah, it doesn't seem. It just seems like it's just a difficult situation to go in your favor.
Yeah.
I think it's going to end up dead more often than productive.
Yeah. For Joe, what does he have to do? I don't know. Maybe he brings in Zealous Conscripts to be able to steal Planeswalkers. But the rest of his sideboard, Purify the Grave, certainly not coming in. Pillar of Flame, not going to come in. Geist Honored Bunk, don't think that's coming in.
I mean, it's kind of hard to say, right? Like, there's a potential. I think Nightshade Peddler is 100% coming out now.
Yes.
So you just have to figure out what you want to replace those Peddlers with. And I think Conscripts is the first place to go, which he has 3 of.
Right, so
and maybe the 4th one. Yeah, maybe the 4th one is a Geist.
Yeah, sure.
I could see that.
And then he's also got Cathedral Sanctifiers, not where you want to be.
It's kind of awkward that he has to leave his Ecstatic Caster in just because it has haste.
Yeah.
Maybe there is an argument to be made that maybe he boards those out because he is boarding in 3 haste creatures and Zealous Conscripts.
I don't know. I would leave. I mean, they're multicolored. They have haste. They have flash.
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah, I mean, multicolored is actually a big deal here because of ultimate price.
Yep.
That actually does matter. So maybe
they have 3 toughness, so they avoid the curse.
Yeah, that's also true. You know, so there's definitely some merit to leaving him. Maybe he shaves. Maybe he wants to move up to 3 Zealous, 3 Geist-Honored Monk. Maybe he boards out 4 Peddlers, 2 Static Casters.
Sure.
Leaves himself with 5 Haste Creatures. Maybe he takes that route. But I think that we can both agree that the other cards in this sideboard, I don't think those are coming in.
No, I would highly doubt it.
I think there's an off chance that maybe we see Purify the Grave to kind of one up a Snapcaster Mage. Maybe.
Yeah, it depends. I don't think that Joe's going to be that fanciful. He tends to stay close to home with his sideboarding decisions. There's not a whole lot of craziness happening. Even though this is a crazy deck, you can understand why everything is in the sideboard.
Yeah.
Like, you look at the deck and you're like, all right, I see how it works. And then you look at the sideboard and you're like, all right, I see what all of the things are doing. Sometimes you look at the sideboard and you're like, what are people, what is the plan?
Yeah, what is going on here?
Yeah, Joe is very, he's a mechanic. He knows what he's, not that kind of mechanic. He's very, he knows what he's doing when it comes to side. He builds like 75 card decks and then shaves 15.
Sure.
As opposed to like being like, all right, I have my 60 card deck. Now time to build a sideboard.
Yeah. I would agree with that. So we'll see as both players are shuffling up here for game 2. I think this is a matchup that does favor Joe quite a bit. I mean, especially in game 1. I think game 1 is very largely in his favor. We saw there where Jax actually drew the cards that did matter. Unfortunately, used them incorrectly.
There's a fine gentleman in the background behind Joe there.
Yeah, a little top hat.
Top hat, white gloves. I like it.
That.
That's excellent.
Like that. You don't see that every day. You do not see that every day.
Kudos, sir.
On SCG Live.
Afro Judge on the left, fine gentleman on the right.
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter?
Yeah, which screen you like better?
Yeah.
It's a close one.
But I think that, you know, especially for Joe here, again, only 1 Rest in Peace, no Purify the Graves. You know, there is a Cyclonic Rift here that he doesn't know about.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of things are in his favor here.
Yeah, and Jax has a very, very bad list dealing with Reanimator in general, let alone this combo Reanimator.
Yeah.
He's playing at sorcery speed. He's got very few Planeswalkers. I don't like his build for this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love his chances of winning. I think that first game is a game he was probably going to win.
Yeah.
If he uses his resources correctly, and I mean, obviously, you know, you've played quite a bit of Magic yourself. You can't let the games get away that you should win. You just can't afford to do that.
Yep. Just get punished.
So we'll see if Jax is able to, you know, make a match out of it.
He's also got to shake it off mentally.
Agreed. That's not always easy to do.
No, and you know, he knew he had that game. He was very frustrated right at the end, right afterwards, like right when we cut to their photos. He's still sort of hitting his face and, you know, making all the motions that are like, man, I should have been there mentally. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And he's just got to shake it off now.
We do see both players taking a look at their opening 7 cards. Game is going to go long for both of them. So we do see Joe weighing his options. Jax as well. Jax is going to take a mulligan. Joe?
I didn't see what he showed us.
I did not see either. Joe looks like he's going to... Looks like he's keeping. Yeah, it looks like he's going to keep that 7.
Yeah. Yeah, now we're chatting with the audience. I think he's got an okay 7.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if Jax is trying to mulligan for... Maybe that was just a bad hand. I would be surprised to see if he was mulliganing for that 1 Rest in Peace.
I would doubt it.
I think that would be a little.
He showed us the 7.
Ambitious.
I imagine that it was just 6 lands and like a 5-drop or something.
Sure.
Yeah, Jax came into this tournament. I mean, he's still undefeated. He's still got a very good chance to win this tournament. But he came into this tournament looking to beat. It looks to me looking to beat Thragtusk. Those decks.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what it looks like is going on.
He came into the tournament looking to beat Thragtusks with a little bit of a hedge towards Hellriders.
Yeah.
And he got paired up against Izzet Static Casters and Angels of Glorious Rises. Look, sometimes you get paired up against the weird deck and then you lose.
Hey, in this standard format, the thing that's kind of interesting is that I don't think you can beat every deck.
I agree.
You know? And so you have to take some losses somewhere.
Yep.
Just because everything is so diverse and everyone attacks from different angles. And so this is an angle that his deck could be. You know, you can build Esper Controller to beat this kind of deck.
Yeah.
He just chose not to for this tournament.
Yep. So we're going to see both players play lands into play tapped. For the first 2 are going to come into play tapped for Jax. I imagine Joe has a 2-drop of some kind.
You do see him taking 2 from the Overgrown Tomb to go to 18. And now we are going to see a Farseek. So he's going to ramp up a little bit. Searching out the old Blood Crypt.
So we've got at least one of all the different types of mana that are requisite in this deck. We're going to want 2 white eventually, but not till turn 1,000,000.
Yeah, he's certainly not in a rush to get any blue mana out there again, because Static Caster just doesn't do very much here.
I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. We don't have blue for his Static Caster.
Yeah,
we want to cast it.
Yeah, and of course I don't think that really matters very much. We're not going to be in the market for an 0/3 that doesn't kill anything.
Right.
We are going to see a Woodland Cemetery, and now I think we're going to start off with Huntmaster. Going to play a little regular game of Magic for now.
That's what I really like about this Human Reanimator deck, is that it's like, you bring in all your graveyard hate, alright, Farseek into Huntmaster into another, like, halfway decent creature.
Yeah.
Just play regular Magic now.
And that's fine.
Completely fine.
You know, Huntmaster is a card that these control decks, you know, they can't ignore, as,
Ooh,
you know, Jax is being punished right now for ignoring it by flipping. It's going to deal Jax 2 and put him down to 18.
Tap land Gui. That's interesting. So we're just going to beat him with some wolves.
Hey, you got to work him over.
That is rough.
We're going to say Feeling of Dread here. Tap those guys.
All right. Moment's Peace. Basically. Interesting that I like Joe's decision here of, well, I've got Grizzly Salvage Faithless Looting. Do I cast them on the same turn or not?
Yeah. Do I want to flip it back? Get another 2/2 out there?
I think he does.
Yeah, I think I would be okay with doing that, as we're going to see Grizzly Salvage reveal Angel, Gaisaner Monk, second Angel of Glorious Rise, Nightshade Peddler, and a Rootbound Crag.
Just take the land here, right? Well, it depends. I guess we could take an Angel and put the other one in the bin. We've only got the 1 white mana. We did bring in the Geist Honored Monks, so our white requirement is a lot higher now.
Yeah. And he is going to take the Angel of Glorious Rise to his hand. Basically, making it so that he can hardcast 1, he can Umbrella Rights 1. Having the options is certainly nice.
Yeah. And we're going to Faithless Looting also.
So 2 spells in 1 turn, as you brought up.
Yep.
Going to let that Huntmaster flip back down once we start Jax's turn.
2 more lands for Joe. I don't know if he wants that many. Also, they weren't white lands, which is a problem, so we're probably going to discard at least 1.
Looks like 2.
We're going to get 2 of them in the bin.
Rootbound Crag and Dragon Skull Summon are going to go away. And you're going to see Joe play a Steam Fence
there we go.
So now there's all the colors of the rainbow.
We have Domain. Do we have Domain?
We have Domain.
White, blue, black, red. Yeah, we have Domain.
Guys, Might of Alara.
Might of Alara, there we go.
Excuse me. We'll be dealing 5, so will Tribal Flames.
Yep. Worldly Council, not the best in this deck, but...
Order Migration. No, that's where you want to be.
Shall we keep going?
That's where you want to be.
Mokta Rioters? Is that the...
I think it is, yeah, Mokta Riders.
What was the Star 2 from Invasion that had the power equals number of basic lands? Was it Kavu?
You. That's you. I don't know that
I don't know that one. It doesn't have Domain, but it's vanilla 5/2 for 3 mana. You know, old extended.
We see Jace Memory Adept coming into play here. Hello. I think that's an easy split.
Yeah, I think that's a halfway decent split. We're going to take the Rest in Peace.
I think so. Yeah, I think with you.
Yeah.
Now would be a good time for Joe to put his creatures that are in his graveyard into play.
Yeah.
If he's able to do that. And he does have 6 lands. I think maybe he only has 5.
He has 5 right now.
lands.
He needs to find a white source, and he didn't. He found another Angel laughing at him. He needed to find a white source or an Unburial Rights.
Yep.
I mean, it's not like he's losing that much either. He's like, his opponent's like, all right, rest in peace. And Joe's like, all right, 6 you again.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're still just playing a fair game of Magic, and Jax plays not a do-nothing, like it cuts off an angle of attack, but certainly not not the most comfortable position for Jax.
So you see Joe's hand, not a great hand. You know, it might be the situation now where he's thinking, I might just have to flashback this Faithless Looting now, just to, you know, further my draws along, and that's what he's going to do.
Yeah, the only other option there was attack for 6, flip Huntmaster.
Sure, to take care of the Jace.
Yeah.
So now we see Joe sifting through his cards there. You see his Ecstatic Caster. That's going to bite the dust.
2 of them.
You see a Rootbound Crag here.
It's possible we're just on the, all right, we don't have a graveyard for the rest of this game. We're just going to play 4/6 flyers for 6.
Yeah. Yep.
which is fine. You know,
Just good cards coming the rest of the game. Jax does draw a Sever the Bloodline. Not a bad draw.
it's not a bad
You're
draw.
going to see Rest in Peace here.
Trigger.
Clean everything up. It is also going to get rid of Jax. An important card for Jax, which is that
Feeling of dread. Yeah, it's going to cut off one of his angles of attack now, or one of his angles of defense, I should say.
He does not have a 5th land.
That's rough.
So Joe can actually keep that Beatdown Express going. And you do see the second. He did draw the second white there.
Perfect.
Yeah. I'm always there when you call. He's always on time.
Jack's down into single digits, and Joe is going to flip his Huntmaster here.
Absolutely. He's going to knock Jax down to 6.
That is representing lethal on board. Jax is going to need a Supreme Verdict or a Miracle Terminus. Did he find it?
We do know that he has the Sever the Ball in his hand, but Sever's not really great here.
No, Sever's still going to put us to 2. That's going to do it, though.
All right. Not bad. So now it's going to be a little case of, you know, this is exactly where Jax wants to be, because this is 1-for-1 city now.
Yeah.
You know, if Joe slams down Angel, he slams down a 4-6, Jax severs it. You know, it's just going to be a lot of 1-for-1ing now. And the good thing for Joe is that Sever can't be flashed back because of Rest in Peace. So that's pretty important. Terminus is going to take care of this, though.
That's nice.
It's
halfway
nice.
decent.
Yeah.
We also need 7 more people.
Jax, you see in Jax's hand, Jax has some Tameo.
Yep.
He's got that Sever the Bloodline. He has a Dissipate in his hand as well.
Tameo, Rest in Peace, not a combo, by the way, with the ultimate ability.
Ah, yes. A non-bow.
A non-bow,
As
we
it
said.
were.
Although I could think of worse non-bows than Rest in Peace Tameo both being in play and untapped.
That's fair. As we do see that second Angel of Glorious Rise, it's going to bite that Dissipate in his hand.
Does that card cost 7?
Yeah.
I thought it cost 6.
That'd be too good if it cost 6.
It would be really good if it cost 6.
It'd be like free if it cost 6.
Yeah, it does cost 7. Huh. Interesting. I did not know that.
And Tameo,
Learn something new every day.
a 5-mana spell,
Yes.
is going to take care of the 7-mana spell.
Much more familiar with Tameo than Angel of Glorious Rise.
Now would be a very good time for Joe to draw Zealous Conscripts. Oh my!
Speak of the devil.
Now that's awkward that I said that. I didn't write that up like I knew he was going to have one. But if he does play it right now and he casts it and he untaps Angel of Glorious Rise, the game is over.
Yes.
He wants to read this to make sure what's going on.
Yeah.
And
4, 5.
we call that a top deck where I'm
That
from.
is a halfway decent top deck.
Untap this,
Yeah.
attack you. Good game. Joe Lossett.
Yeah.
7-0.
Pretty nice. He's going to be able to draw in, should he so choose.
A very good draw. I mean, Jax was turning that game around. Things were getting like very serious very quick there.
Yeah.
Sever the Bloodline in his hand. Tameo locking down that creature and threatening to draw a couple of cards. Things were really turning in his favor, and there were a lot of, I think we can agree, bad draws there.
Yes.
For Joe in those situations, Unburial Rights.
But
some
Joe
other
had
poor
set up a
draws.
situation where it just didn't matter that his draws were bad because he just kept leaving himself out because he was the one applying the pressure.
Yep.
Jax wasn't actually advancing anything.
Yep.
You know, top deck and Terminus to get rid of a 4-6 is nice. The Rest in Peace was also nice, but Joe, 4U, 6U, 6U, it just kept up the pressure and it didn't, you know, he ended up just whittling away enough that he gave himself some more outs, finally found one.
And wins the game.
Wins the game.
So Joe Lossett moving on to 7-0. Jax Remitio, first loss, can still top 8 the tournament. You know, hopefully just mentally comes back from this. Just probably not the best game he's played on this weekend.
Yeah, still in a very good spot. I think that he did come back from his mental mistake in the first game.
Yeah.
And played a good game. It just so happened that Joe had a draw that matched up really well with Jax's. And then he found the time when he saw his conscripts off the top.
And I think, you know, if you asked Jax before the tournament started, what's the deck that you don't want to play against, I think he would have said this one.
Yep, I agree.
You know, a good pairing for Joe, a poor pairing for Jax, and Joe will be moving on, looking to play